good evening. This is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on February the 21st, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Great to see you all back here, and thank you all so much for subscribing to this channel. We have now surpassed the 15,000 mark. Fantastic, absolutely great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So what I'd like to talk about this evening, there are two recent incidents that have taken place that are quite shocking. One is the Covington affair with the students and the native Indian, and the other one is the Jussie Smollett case, and these have far wider implications than the incident themselves. So Jussie Smollett, this has just come out this morning. He has been arrested, and he's being charged with filing a false police report. So Jussie Smollett is the star, or one of the co-stars, in a show called Empire on Fox TV. I haven't seen it personally, so I don't know any of that side of the situation. But anyways, initially what happened was he wrote himself a letter with, cut out words placed on the page, basically attacking him with homophobic slurs and racial slurs. There was a noose on there and a gun pointing towards him, and so on and so forth. So it was kind of taken as a death threat. Well, this didn't cause as much of a stir as he thought it might, and so he goes on to report that he's attacked by two white men who utter racial slurs, and they are MAGA supporters. This is Make America Great Again, a Trump supporter, and they put a noose around his neck and they threw an unknown liquid, which turned out to be bleach, all over him. And then of course there is the tearful interviews with ABC and so on and so forth, all of the alphabet media agencies, newspapers and so on and so forth, and they ran with this story. And of course, had it been true, it would have been absolutely atrocious. Even President Trump tweeted something out about how sorry he was that this had happened. And but it turns out that Jussie Smollett set this up himself. The two actors, the two brothers, two Nigerian brothers, who were black, and I mean that's kind of interesting in and of itself, that he said that there were white people who attacked him and they were actually black people that he hired. They have a check for $3,500, and there's footage of them going to the hardware store where they bought the hats and the rope for the noose and the gloves and all that kind of stuff. And so this is just an egregious lie. I don't want to go too far. I'll tell you the story of the Covington issue. This is the young lad, Nick Sandman, who had the face-off with the native Indian at the foot of the Lincoln statue, which turned out to be completely different. But again, it's a story of the media running with a story before they have fully investigated. They haven't waited for the police to investigate or the results of that investigation to be presented to them. And so now they look like absolute fools. But the biggest issue, certainly with Smollet, is that it undermines the credibility of anyone else coming forward who have been attacked for racial or homophobic reasons. They're not gonna, or they're gonna have a tougher time being believed. Okay, and this is just awful. This one incident, this $3,500, and apparently it was all to get more pay, and that is another stunning statement and indictment of the world in which we live today, that somebody would affect so many people. And this is not just an ordinary member of the public. You've got to remember, this guy is a star. His face is well known, and what he says has weight. And the outpouring of sympathy was absolutely astounding. And I'm sure that now the impact of the consequences, where he's been charged with a felony, he may go to jail for 1 to 3 years. There is a good chance that he can lose his job as the co-star on Empire. He now has to face the world, and everyone knows that face because it's a popular face, it's a famous face. The media are discrediting themselves. We are awash in fake news accusations. And this is the last thing the media needs to do, is to jump the gun and misreport. And this brings us to Covington. Okay, now this young lad, it turns out, you see, they jumped with the story, and the first footage shows the lad smiling and a native up close to his face, drumming, and it looks like they're having a confrontation, and that the native is surrounded by MAGA hat wearing kids. And they ran with that story that here is the aggressor, here is the KKK of today, and this is your typical white male being bred right now. And so, I mean, it was horrible. Okay, this was bullying, and this was all to get at Trump. Remember, this is what is untenable about this whole situation, is that this was sacrificing people on the altar of their hatred for Trump. Now, you can hate Trump, you can love Trump, it matters not to me. But when you sacrifice young children, teenagers, on that altar, look out, buddy. Okay, so footage, live streaming footage. So this footage was going up on YouTube as it was being filmed. Shows the whole situation from another angle. It shows that the kids were, as they said, were just waiting on a step. They were part of a school group. They were waiting for their bus to arrive so they could leave to go back to Kentucky. And Nathan Phillips, the Vietnam era veteran, because he's not a Vietnam vet, he was in the army in that era, but he was only in Nevada and California as a refrigeration mechanic. Anyway, first let's go see these news clips that I've got for you. They'll be quite short, but they just sort of paint the picture and some of the implications that we've been talking about. Okay, so let's go take a look at those, and I'll come back and do a quick wrap up. Okie dokie. Here we go. Okay, this from People. Jussie Smollett allegedly paid men to stage hate attack on him with a $3,500 check. Police who say Empire actor Jussie Smollett staged a biased attack on himself as a publicity stunt to boost his salary on the Fox TV show allegedly have at least one tangible piece of evidence connected him to the incident. It's the $3,500 check that Smollett allegedly used to pay the two men who attacked him. Mr. Smollet is the one that orchestrated this crime, said Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson in a press conference Thursday, where authorities described how they came to discredit Smollett's claims, leading to a felony charge against him for allegedly filing a false police report. Smollet, who turned himself in on Thursday morning, appeared in Cook County Circuit Court later in the day, where his bond was set at $100,000, reports the Associated Press. These are outrageous allegations that Smollet denies, one of his attorneys, Jack Pryor, told the judge. But the defense team and Smollett family members left the court without further comment. Around 2 a.m. on January 29, Smollett, 36, claimed he was beset on the street near his Chicago home, black-clad men spewing racist, homophobic and political slurs. He told police they put a noose around his neck, doused him with bleach and fled, saying, "This is MAGA country," invoking a campaign slogan used by President Trump and his supporters that some perceive as a dismissal of immigrants and minorities. First, Smollett attempted to gain attention by sending a false letter to himself that relied on racial, homophobic and political language, Johnson said, of the actor and singer, who is gay and black. When that didn't work, Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process. The superintendent, a Chicago native who is also black, added, Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to advance his career. "I am left hanging my head and asking why," he said. "Would anybody, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations? How could someone look at the hate and suffering associated with that symbol and see it as an opportunity to manipulate that symbol to further his own public profile?" Life site Dick Sandman files $250 million lawsuit against Washington Post. February 19th, 2019, in what they say is just the first of many, lawyers for Covington Catholic High School junior Nick Sandman filed a $250 million lawsuit against the Washington Post today. The Post rushed to lead the mainstream media to assassinate Nichols' character and bully him, high-profile attorney Lynn Wood and Todd McCurdy wrote in a summary of their lawsuit. The newspaper fanned the flames of the social media mob into a mainstream media frenzy of false attacks and threats against Nicholas. Salmon and his fellow Covington classmates became the target of false accusations of racism after a selectively edited video of them waiting for their bus after the 2019 March for Life was shared on social media. The video purported to show the boys harassing an elderly Native American, but additional extended video and first-hand accounts soon revealed the man, Nathan Phillips, was the one who waded into the group waiting for its bus and decided to beat a drum inches from Sandman's face, and other adults who accompanied Phillips shouted racial taunts at the kids. The kids had been performing school cheers in an attempt to drown out the harassment and did not respond to adults' insults and abuse in any kind. No video showed the teens chanting "Build the Wall" as widely reported. Whilst teens did not approach the group, Phillips eventually appears and quickly becomes surrounded by the students. However, in a statement released Sunday, Salmon claimed that he had been singled out and felt as though the elder was attempting to provoke the teenagers, and the other video shows quite clearly that the teenagers did not surround Phillips or his group. In fact, there was a big group of people behind him that were forcing the students further up the steps of the memorial. Okay, so this is the spin that has been put onto this by the media, and this is why. This is the Huffington Post. Okay, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are one of the newspaper outlets and computer outlets, internet outlets that are being sued by the school and the students. MAGA hat student Nick Sandman. Kentucky prosecutor warns prison sentences for school threats. The Kentucky prosecutor investigating threats against Nick Sandman's high school wants to punish anyone threatening physical harm with prison time. Rob Sanders, whose jurisdiction includes Covington Catholic High School, tells us he's deadly serious about seeking incarceration for people threatening Sandman's teachers and classmates because it's a Class D felony in Kentucky, punishable by 1 to 5 years in a state penitentiary. As you know, threats against Nick and others at his school have been pouring in via email, phone calls and social media ever since his confrontation with Native American elder Nathan Phillips at the Lincoln Memorial. Sanders say the threats include burning down the school, blowing up the school, shooting up the school, and attacking students. And he wants to set an example for the nation. Threats made on social media will have real-world consequences. Sanders makes it clear he doesn't have a political dog in the fight. His only point is it's totally unacceptable to ever threaten kids. And watch, he's not about to stop with fines. And good for him. This is something that needs to be done. People need to be sent a really firm message. You cannot threaten anybody on social media. Okay, a threat is the same whether it's on social media or whether it's in your face. A threat is a threat. Here, Wikipedia, Nathan Phillips. This is the activist. This is the native drummer. Phillips was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, where he spent his first 5 years in a traditional Omaha Nation tribal home. From about the age of 5, when he was separated from his mother, he was raised in a white foster family. He was given the adopted name of Nathaniel Richard Stannard. He went to Lincoln Southeast High School. He later moved to Washington, D.C. According to local news reports from Lincoln obtained by the Washington Examiner, Phillips was charged with numerous crimes in the 70s, including a charge for escaping from prison in 1974, a charge of assault in 1974, multiple charges for underage possession of alcohol in 72, 73 and 75, and negligent driving and driving without a license in 78. He was described as a thug for hire for the 14-year period following 1976. In military service, Phillips is a Vietnam-era veteran who served in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves from 20th of May 1972 to the 5th of May 1976, though he never fought in the Vietnam War or was deployed to Vietnam. Military records show that he spent his entire service as a refrigerator technician in Nebraska and California after being trained as an anti-tank missileman. Phillips was on active duty from the 12th of August 1974 to 5th of May 1976 as a refrigerator technician. He was discharged as a private following disciplinary issues, including 3 AWOL, that's absent without leave incidents. Phillips said he was victimized for his role as a veteran. Now, there were people, the maliciousness to burn down the school, that's the face that needs to be punched, to shoot. And, you know, see, this is coming from a group that are anti-gun. They're always talking about gun controls, and now they're talking about shooting up the school. This has been media driven. I mean, people who sent those messages will get their comeuppance, okay, because the Washington Post has just been given a lawsuit for $250 million. Now, they're not going to get that, and they'll probably settle out of court. However, it's going to hurt, and this is just one of 50 that have been sent out to different media outlets and individuals, and some very high profile Hollywood individuals, comedians, okay, and they are going to get sued like you wouldn't believe, because they were the ones inciting the public for a lynching. Okay, they created the lynch mob, and they're going to pay the price, and I hope the judge actually does have the Washington suit for $250 million, that the order goes through. Because you need to send a strong message that what we need here in our society, the only way that we can go on as a society, as a cohesive, working society, is to have honesty and trust. If we don't have that, we can't move forward, because we're going to be blocking ourselves with doubt every step of the way, and anger, and you can see that happening. And this is being fueled by the media. The media have an incredible responsibility here, and yes, I will lay it at their feet, because I believe that because these people have lawyers on site, that they are intelligent people, they have university educations, that they must be reflective at some point on their behavior. That this is deliberate. This is allowing their anger for a single individual to cloud their integrity. And that needs to be punished. And if you won't listen to reason, then the courts should be punishing you. And pay that fine, buddy. We pay our fines, so you corporations can pay your fines. And of course, the other thing that's happening is that this game has been played for so long, 2 years. 2 years. I can't believe this has been going on for 2 years. And in the meantime, you know, because all kinds of people have these Android boxes now, okay, they can have YouTube on the big screen, and so they're getting alternate news sources. And there are literally hundreds of people like me who are offering a narrative or a commentary which is centrist, which I hope is common sense, and it leads forward where we can all get along by and large in society together and progress. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe below, and in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off and wishing you a great week, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Okay, you take care now. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.